Right, so before the season, I was like so keen for the semis because from a spectator's point of view, it's just more racing, it's more fun. We're now at a halfway point in the season, and you've now raced half a World Cup season in what is probably the most the year that's changed the most
ever since I've started. 100%.
Yeah. What are your feelings, thoughts, opinions on this year?
Honestly, for us, the semis aren't that bad. It's like you just kind of go and it makes it a bit almost easier on the race day, bar the nerves at the top. Twice the nerves is pretty like not that fun, if I'm honest. Like, not the best. But for a fan perspective at the race, it's so slow and boring. The semis, like nothing really happens. No one really cares. Like there's not like a hot seat. The announcers are normally pretty terrible because it's too early in the day. And the race then, like especially if you want to watch TV or you want to be there, it's 6 hours. It's 6 hours of drip feeding people every 2 or 3 minutes. You know, it's not like in practice every 10 seconds you might get a guy. Every 30 seconds you got 60 guys in practice. You know, you got 60 guys for the first bit and it goes down to 30. But it's really slow because you've got 60 guys and you've got the women's semi, then you've got another 15-minute break, then you've got the men's, which might be 2 or 3 minute gaps, and then you've got another 20-minute break. It drags the day out. It's a long day as a spectator. I think it honestly kills the vibe at the race. The finals is the finals. It's insane, dude. It's like, for some reason, this sport's sick. But I've got a couple top sponsors that have watched it at home that are super into it. And they said they were so bored and they felt like they needed to watch the semi. And they were so bored watching 6 hours of racing. But then they just watched the final, what's happened. Why is, like Matt Walker, the English one, missed the final this year. You wouldn't know, but, oh, where's our guy Matt Walker or whatever. You have to kind of watch it to see, or why is Bernard starting there, or whereas you could just watch qualifying the day before or look at the results the night before, and then a fan on the site watches a sick practice, straight back up runs, or a fan at home's like, practice is done, excuse me. Women, men, it's just the one run is the thing of downhill. I think the semis is, it's honestly not as bad for us as I think as the spectators, because we kind of just ride a bit closer, especially when I did really bad in Val di Sol semi. I was in the pits for 40 minutes before I went back up. I would change the pedals, had some food, lay down with Lada and some air conditioning. I honestly had like a 10-minute nap, barely. And we're like, right, let's get it ready, let's go up again, which kind of made it easy. Like, I feel like I'm fit enough now, so that doesn't really matter either.
Yeah.
Bikes are so good. None of that. I think injuries, we've lost a lot of people this year to injuries, whether it's because we're trying to rush to get up to speed because of semis or what it is, but the injury rate this year is terrible. I think it's the high-speed tracks, a bunch of everything, but I don't know, I could talk about it all day. But yeah, I'm not a fan of semis.
Super interesting, because it's like, I
think it's bad. I think, honestly, it dilutes it. I think too much of something is bad.
Yeah.
I think it's too much of this, too much of that, too much. Their views on the semi, I think, are maybe 70,000 or 80,000 on their YouTube. They're not good viewing figures for a live broadcast, because you can see that on YouTube. They can't create those and lie about them or fake them up.
In summary, would you say the old final was just a simple, easy to understand, exciting story, and the semis has maybe made it too much for people to kind of...
I would agree, yeah. Too much, too confusing, too diluted. Whatever it is, just not as good as the product was. But they said they're super open to make mistakes and learn from it and go forward. So who knows? I don't know if they're thinking it's really good at the minute or not as good or what. But
yeah,
I haven't spoken to many riders about it either, to be fair. But I know sponsors that I spoke to that have been watching at home or fans on site found it pretty boring. But yeah, what did you think?
Well, honestly, because we're obviously like commenting on it, I find it quite hard to follow, and I didn't think I would.
Really into
I'm
it for the last
really
15
into
years,
it, but like it is 6 hours of viewing, and also if you're just picking up small pieces of information from like Instagram, it really helps if it's just simple. It's just like you've got qualifying and finals. It's very easy to like work out who's fallen off in qualifying. Now we've got qualifying. I feel like I don't even know whether it matters anymore. It feels like
it feels like qualifying's not as thing as much.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. And then you've got to work out like who's protected for each round.
Yeah, because it's too protected. Different. Yeah, even for us, like Charlie Hatton wasn't protected, but we thought he was, and his team manager's messaging an hour before, not sure. Yeah, like, and we're doing it for a job.
Yeah.
No, I think it's messy and
It's a little bit too complicated for me.
And you can argue we had it with
personally,
time practice. Time practice was cool. Were they trying? Weren't they trying?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. But look, when he's got the fastest top split, but
yeah.
he didn't go hard all the way.
but ultimately time practice didn't matter. Whereas now you're saying there's 3 race runs that matter.
Yeah, for points and everything. Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you didn't mention at all that you didn't want to go down the hill at that speed an extra time.
We don't really want to. That's where we think the high risk comes.
Okay.
But I'm trying to turn that off because that is one thing in racing. I'm like, it's getting gnarly now, and the kids don't think about that. I think that's why they're amazing riders, but they don't have the scared brain of a 32-year-old when they're 18, which I think is partly why they're doing so good at the minute.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, fair play to them. They're nuts. They're not scared. They're amazingly talented riders, and we're like all scared and old now. So yeah, it's not ideal, but the run to run kind of works all right for a rider, but I think overall for our sport, it's a negative thing.
Okay, cool, thank you. I had an interesting theory, I thought. Right, I mentioned it in our Val de Sol roundup episode, and me and Dave, we get Dave on to talk about the World Cups, and we were talking about
I've seen
how
that.
yeah,
That's sick, Monster Dave.
So we were talking about the semis. We were like, okay, so normally you have one run at finals, and that is the time that you experience the track at 100% of you riding it at 100%. And now you ride it at 100% and you've still got a run to go. So you have like little things that you're like, oh, I actually rode that at 100%, but I could have braked even later.
Even less or improved, exactly. Yeah.
Is that because the times are going up in finals from semis to finals, and you're like,
They haven't really though. They've gone
Have they not?
fractionally.
No.
We went where everyone went
fractionally,
slower.
yeah. But I mean,
Oh no, did Jackson go the same time in the end, or did he go slower? I think he might have been a second slower. Or
But-
about the same in finals. So we aren't changing a lot. Maybe they're going fractionally. I think they did at Lenzerheide.
I think they did at Lenzerheide. Yeah, that was when we talked
But the
about
next
it.
two they
Obviously,
didn't?
Val de Sol's like pointless because there was weather.
And then I think Leo Gang slowed down because it got drier.
Oh, did it? Maybe I'm talking nonsense then.
I don't know. Maybe
I wondered
you're
whether
right.
my
Jeez, I can't
theory
remember now.
worked. No,
No, you would think.
Do
no,
you feel
your
that
theory
way?
right? Your theory is right, 100%. Because I like hit stuff way better at Val de Sol from semis to finals, even like before I bent the pedal.
Yeah.
So for sure, yeah, your theory's right, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It's too drawn out. Like people have it's so long as a fan watching 3 minutes between riders come down.
All right, cool.
Don't know. Maybe it makes it better racing. I don't know. Not a fan.
Good summary. I think that's brilliant. I think we need to move on now to hardline. I think we should first of all bring up the fact that you've got like pads with blood on and stuff on your wrist.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
just from.
you just pulled off like a heart thing from your chest. Why is we have to explain all of this stuff? Otherwise, people just think you've got like some sort of opiate habit. Yeah.
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type the Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!